Hey y'all, it is Shawnti Refuge, your master certified mental health coach, speaker, author of the best-selling book Quiet is Kept, and your journaling plug. We're back with day 3 of this Mental Health Awareness Month series, and today we are talking about something that sneaks into the moment you start choosing yourself, and that is guilt. Because nobody talks about the part where healing feels bad before it even gets better. So let me break it down for you. So, when you've been raised to equate your worth with what you do for other people, choosing yourself seems like betrayal. And not because it is, but because that's what you were taught. You cancel a plan because you're emotionally tapped out, and suddenly you feel selfish. You finally say no to your mama, your kid, or your partner, and the guilt eats you alive. And then you decide not to answer that call because you don't have the capacity. And now you're the bad one. Any of that sound familiar? But the truth is that guilt is often a sign that you're crossing into freedom. Your body's just not used to it yet. Guilt isn't always proof you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's proof you're doing something new. I remember one day when I didn't show up the way I wanted to for my daughter. She had a performance at school, and y'all, I forgot. I completely forgot. I was overwhelmed, wouldn't get no sleep, and barely holding it together. And, she came home quiet and disappointed. And my guilt, it nearly swallowed me whole. I started talking to myself like, what kind of mother forgets this? What message did I just send her? Like, she gonna think I don't give a shit. I'm becoming the kind of parent I needed to heal from because, baby, my mama didn't show up to none of my stuff. None. So, but then I paused. I reminded myself that this moment does not define me. What defines me is that I came to her with my heart in my hand and I said, I miss something so important to you and you matter to me. And I'm still learning how to take care of myself while showing up for you. And, she forgave me. She wasn't even mad. Actually, it was, I don't know what it was, but, she wasn't as mad as I thought she would be. I guess I was watching too much TV at the time. And you know how those TV children are. But, but this became a teaching moment for both of us. Choosing me that week was messy, but it also helped me to model honesty and grace. And that's something that I wanted to teach my children. Honesty and grace. Be honest. We mess up. We're human. So let me ask you something. What does your guilt try to convince you of? That you're selfish, you're unworthy, you're irresponsible. What would happen if you challenged that voice? Guilt is a conditioned response. It's the leftover echo of obligation and not truth. So let's stop giving it authority it doesn't deserve. Your guilt does not deserve authority. So today's journaling prompt is it's kind of like a fill in the blank, finish the sentence kind of thing. So when I choose myself, I feel guilty because, fill that in. And then, but what's actually true is, and fill that in. Let your pen finish the sentence. Let yourself be real. And you don't need to justify your humanity. So if you are doing this work and those guilt whispers are getting louder, I want you to have the tools that you need in your corner. I have guided journals that give you space to unpack guilt, grief, and old programming that no longer serves you. I have my Mothering in the Dark support group who meets weekly, and we hold space for the mess, not just the milestones. And if you want one-on-one help untangling guilt from your identity, then let's work together in coaching. You deserve that kind of support, and I'm here for you. Everything you need you can find on my website, ShawntiRefuge.com. So choosing you doesn't make you wrong. It makes you whole. And I'll be back with day 4. And until then, be gentle with your guilt. It is loud, but it's not always right. You ever heard that term, loud and wrong? Yeah, sometimes our guilt could be that way too. So I want you to subscribe, drop a comment if this hits home, and share it with someone who's learning to say yes to themselves without apology. Until next time.